people out there in the world.
So we're going to give you guys about another 2 minutes to come on in the room. We are live. So come on in the room and engage in this conversation that we're going to have today. So, you see
Okay,
it?
so it's up there?
Mm-hmm. So go ahead and see if
I
you
don't
can.
have it on my yet.
Yeah, so if you have.
That's on your personal page?
Mm-mm. I'm on the center stage. And I'm just going to share the story now. Come on in, you guys.
So I'm on that website.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Share your story. And that's going to share to your page. So, it is now 10:01. And so, as people continue to join us and engage in this conversation with us, we really want people to engage with us as much as you can. Send us some questions or anything that you might come across as we are sharing, basically who we are. And so, Nita, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Hi, my name is Nita Ambus. I am impaired driving coordinator here at Jackson State University's Interdisciplinary Alcohol and Drug Study Center. These are my colleagues.
And I'm McMillian. I'm an occupant coordinator.
My name is Stanley Collins. I am a impaired driver specialist.
And together we work with the Mississippi Office of Highway Safety, basically talking to young people across the state about, particularly between the ages of 16 and 20. We talk to them about being safe on the highway, from everything about buckling seatbelts to driving impaired or using drugs.
Right, so we talk about the different types of drugs that people are using nowadays. We talk about alcohol. We talk about the ways that alcohol and drugs can affect you in your everyday life and how it affects you when you're driving. I talk a lot about how, when you mix those, and it's not just the illegal drugs. Alcohol is a drug and it is legal. Then you have those over-the-counter drugs, you have those prescription drugs, and then you have the mixture of the over-the-counter drugs with alcohol. All these different things that could cause fatalities even, or any type of wrecks or issues when driving.
And we also talk about, like I said, just basically wearing seatbelts and some of the consequences of not having a seatbelt on. You can be fined up to $25, but more than the most important piece that we share with our young people about why we should be wearing seatbelts and buckling up is to be safe, because we want our kids and our young people, when they leave home or when they leave their residence, we want them to return back home safely.
Right. So, one thing that I like to tell everybody is about the responsibility of doing, like I said before, alcohol is legal, over-the-counter drugs are legal, prescription medications are legal, but there's the responsibility in using those things and not basically intertwining those things. On any of the medication that you take, it does tell you anything that you may mix with it may cause a problem. It does tell you if you, whenever you need to seek your doctor, and it does tell you when you do not need to drive or operate heavy equipment when using that. And a lot of with the kids that we speak with, they don't really recognize that or realize that. And did we talk about the age range? We basically focus on, well, with the grant that we use from the Mississippi Highway safety,
Officer
Office of Highway Safety. We target teens and young adults ages 15 through 20, and we try to give them this information on it so that they can, live accordingly, basically.
And we have talked to people basically from all corners of Mississippi, from the north, from North Mississippi to South Mississippi, East Mississippi, and to West Mississippi. We have been around the state sharing this information, and our young people are really knowledgeable about different things in their area.
Right, we learn a lot from them.
We really
learn the different the signals that they use. We learn the different types of wording or verbiage that they use towards these different types of drugs. And then we also learned that there are different drugs in different areas that they're mostly affected. Because when we went to Yazoo City, what was their drugs down there? Didn't they mention meth?
They did. They mention
meth.
And so,
what else?
And so in different areas, you're right. Some type of pill. So you're right. In different areas, there are different types of drugs that impact them, and so we just try to come in and provide as much resources as we can to help them to become safe. I mean, the thing is, we want them to because our kids already know about a lot of these things. They already know it. It is not the question of if they're going to be involved or be introduced to some of these things. The question is when. And I'm going to tell you right now that a lot of our kids are actually being introduced to this stuff
already.
Now. And so what we try to do is just to make sure that they're able to make informed decisions.
Yes, for themselves. And I'm the only parent here, but I have a 12-year-old, and she's been introduced to these things by her peers way early on. So even with our young kids, maybe kids as young as 8 and 9 years old, are using drugs and alcohol, and maybe they're not driving using drugs and alcohol, but it's still important for them to know the dangers associated with it.
And one thing that we have been doing, now we try, let me say this, our presentation is really engaging with our young people.
Yes, it's real fun. They do have fun.
They do have fun. I mean, we use a lot of things, anywhere from drunk goggles. The kids they actually have fun in doing that and experiencing what it's like to be drunk, or experiencing what the feeling might be like, and how you can lose your equilibrium and how things are sort of off. We also show them different videos that gives them an aha moment. We were just recently at a health fair, actually at Lanier, and in our presentation, or in our location inside of the health fair, we had a video showing in the background. It was a compilation video of basically of drivers not wearing their seatbelt, and you could actually see some people being thrown out of the vehicles, although it may seem a little harsh. But it was informative for our kids and for the young people, because when they were looking at the video, a lot of them were saying, "Ooh, wow," But that gives them a real life perspective and an understanding that this could happen to them if they're not doing what they need to do to remain safe on our highways.
Right, it's very real. And then all of the knowledge that we have is not really common sense. A lot of people have to be taught this, and a lot of people are not taught this, and I'm pretty sure they don't teach these things in school unless people like us come into it, and if you need us to come to your school, we got you. So they're not teaching these things in school, but it is really important to know. And just in case you don't know, the legal limit for drinking and driving or being under the influence and driving would be 0.08%, and that's across the country. But for the teens and young adults that we target, which are under the age of 21, their legal limit is anywhere from 0.02% to 0.08%, and that's just here in Mississippi. It may change in other states for them, but if they get to that 0.08%, then their penalties and fines will be that of an adult. So that's very important to know, to tell your kids. I'm pretty sure you're not going to be happy with your child coming home with a DUI.
I know that's right, because it costs a lot of money.
All right, so I have a couple statistics that I wanted to read out. So I have one person died every 51 minutes in an accident caused by an alcohol-impaired driver.
And that's really impactful as well, because a lot of times when we go and talk to these young people, most of our presentation may last from anywhere to 30 minutes. It can be up to 2 hours. So we can cater our presentations basically to meet the needs of the people in which we're representing. And when we tell our young people that, that's another aha moment, because statistically, I mean, one person every 50 minutes is in a fatal car accident due to having drugs or alcohol in their system. And with knowing that, you know, that definitely gives our young people something to as a resource to say, hey, you know, do I want to be that one person? You know, do I want that person? You know, do I want to be that do I want to be that one person that's going to be in a fatal car accident? Most of them, they do not.
Right, and so I think that when we give that type of information, like Keith said, he has a video showing how when you're in the car driving without a seatbelt, not just if you're driving, but if you're a passenger in the seat, it shows you how that impact happens and how people are getting thrown out of the vehicle. So instead of us just sitting there and telling them like, hey, don't do drugs because drugs is going to do this to you, we can actually show and do preventive medicine that way. Like, hey, okay, this happened to Sally. Sally went and took this drug, and then now Sally looks this way. If you want to be like Sally, do what Sally did. You know.
Right.
So and I think the kids really like that we have those things, because not only is it interesting, they also like to talk about taboo things, and then they also they're very honest with us. You know, we've had kids tell us about the different types of drugs that they've done themselves. They told us about the different types of drugs that have been around with friends or been introduced to, and they also even shared that even with our presentations, how they got a better understanding of what those drugs or the alcohol could do for them, and that's something that they don't want in their lives. So I think that's a pretty good thing.
I have another did you know. Did you know that Mississippi became the 22nd state to adopt a law for seatbelt 14 years ago in 2006? We were the 26th state that actually adopted that law.
Right, and then I wonder why. You know, see, I always try to figure out why.
You know,
I just, you know, and all that getting an understanding. So I always want to know why. You know, why did it take so long for them to do the seat belt? You know, because I'm pretty sure there have been fatalities up until 14 years ago. You know, but I wonder what it was to just make Mississippi or any other state just say, okay, well, we need to go ahead and implement this law. Right?
Well, I'm just glad that they did, because
it's a great thing that they did.
yeah, I'm just glad that they did, because the ideal is, like I said, is to keep everyone safe on the highways.
Right.
And that's really what we're just trying to share with our young people across the state of Mississippi, is being safe on the highway. Even I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just about to mention how with the age range that we deal with, which is ages 16 through 20, with that age range, even if they're not under the influence of any type of drug or alcohol, they are most likely to be in any type of car accident. And so if you multiply that, I mean, if you add something to that, you multiply that a couple, 2, 3 points, something like that.
Our young people are already 10% more likely to be involved in an automobile accident.
And
32
times more likely.
There you go. Just because they're
more.
There you go. Just because of their age. They are already 10 times more likely.
And lack of experience.
But if they include alcohol or drugs with that, that increases their probability from 10% to more than 32% to be involved in a fatal car accident. And so those are other things that we try to share with our young people. And then also, so we've been speaking with a lot of driver's ed courses or classes across the state. And one thing that we've tried to share with them as well, is especially with people who, young people who may be considering getting their CDL license for professional work. And one of the things that's important to know as well is that, you know, if you get a DUI, your license, your CDL license can be suspended for up to a year from the first offense. But if you get a second offense, your CDL license can be suspended up to 10 years. And that can really impact your livelihood. If 10
years is like a definite.
10 years is a long time, you know. So we try to make sure that they're informed and making the right decisions. And so really, that's what we're all about. come on in the room. We have a couple of people watching with us. I see Anthony McMillian out there. I think, look, I don't know if
Is
that's
that
my
any
brother. Actually, we are. Let me see, Anthony. So that's my, Lord, I don't know if that's my brother or my nephew. They both have the same name. I don't see the picture up. But thank y'all for watching. We got Mr. Toby Griffith out there, Mr. Perry. What's up, Will? They're joining in. Thank y'all for joining in. Feel free to share with us, any questions that you may have. Now, this is going to be an ongoing series. It's going to be from 10 to about 10:30, maybe 10:45, maybe longer, depending on when we have special guests. But every second Tuesday of the month, we are going to be having sort of this dialogue. We're going to take our time just to sort of share with our people. And
it's very important.
It's very important.
Dialogue is very important because of just life in general. It's just very important for us to talk about the different types of issues that we have and the ways that we can prevent these issues or the ways that we can kind of curb it. Not just in our community, but in other type of racial communities as well. These are issues that we have and we need to correct. We need to fix, because if we didn't have this problem, we wouldn't have a job. But we still want to fix it because we care about people and we love people.
So join in with us. If you have a story or something that you would like to share, or a testimony, or if you know someone who has been impacted by a drunk driver, whether directly or indirectly. We went to Lanier a couple of weeks ago, and actually the principal, I think it was one of her children, had been impacted by a drunk driver, and so she actually shared.
What did her sister?
I'm not sure. But it was, I know they were kin. I'm not sure. But I will say this, that we do have on next month, we do have a MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, from here in Mississippi. We do have a representative who will be joining us, and she'll be telling her story. And I do know that she actually lost two of her loved ones due to a drunk driving incident. And so she's going to share that story with us, and also share some things that she's doing to help prevent this from occurring as well from across the state. And so she's going to share her testimony. You never know if your testimony might be able to impact somebody else. Yeah. And so if you have a testimony, if you have something that you would like to share that could help someone else, let us know.
Or if you just want to talk to us directly, just let us know, and we'll, click you in. We can answer any questions that you may have, to the best of our ability. We have our trusted friend Google that we can help you, we can look into if we don't know the answer to your question. But the purpose of us doing these videos is to kind of get the word out and to let people know the things that they need to know, and also so that we could be invited to events. We do presentations, we do what do you call those things, those tables that we put up?
Table setups. So we
What
go to health fairs. We booths. Yeah. And so, we do health fairs. We'll do bar mitzvahs. It doesn't matter. We'll come to your church. We'll come to
parties is very important.
16 parties. We'll
come 21 and all the parties. Oh my God, those parties. Oh yeah.
So we'll come wherever you are across the state of Mississippi to engage in this conversation with you. So it doesn't matter. Again, it can be anywhere from 2 people to 200 people. You don't have to be in a fancy space. I've talked to a couple of parents and a couple of kids, even inside of their living room. And so it doesn't matter.
And it's important to know that it's not a judgment thing. We're not judging. We're not trying to get into to see what you got going on in your life. We just want you to be safe. And the only thing we can do is just give you that information, and hopefully you and the people that we do share the information with, would take something from it.
Definitely. And so if you want to reach out to us, you can email the center at IADSC at jsums.edu. Again, that's IADSC. And let me go ahead and type that in right now for you guys. I'm going to put it in the messenger. But that's the Interdisciplinary Alcohol Drug Study Center at JSUMS, jsums.edu. And I see a couple of people watching with us. Do you guys have any questions out there? Any concerns? Anything that you would like to share with us? And again, if you know someone that may have been impacted directly or indirectly due to drugs or alcohol or some type of driving impairment or driving accident, let us know. We would love to hear from them. Like I said, you never know how your story might be able to help others. And so, I mean, we're about to wrap things up here, but again, we just wanted to share this information with you guys. It's very important for our young people and for adults to know as well.
Mm-hmm. And one thing that I always like to say when I do my presentations is the responsibility. Did I already talk about that? The responsibility?
You can share it again.
Okay, I'm gonna share it again. I'm sorry if I already did. Overload of information is not bad. So the responsibility of it. So even though alcohol is legal and even though certain types of drugs are legal, it's the responsibility in taking those drugs, or it's the responsibility of drinking and driving, or the responsibility of being under the influence of anything. Now, it's very, very important to know ways that you can prevent drinking and driving, and we can give you those facts right now, right fast. So, what are some things? You can call someone, you call a ride. Now we have Uber, we have Lyft, we have all these different ride share programs that you can do. You can even call a cab if you want to pay all that money. You can take a bus or a train. You can call a friend. You can spend the night. I would rather sleep in my car than to get a DUI or to potentially hurt someone else if I, drank too much or had too much. So it's completely preventable. So just whatever you do, just be cautious in your actions, and just know that when you drive, you're not the only person on the road.
Definitely. So I'm waiting to see if we have any questions on here. What time you guys have?
10:20.
So do we have any more did you know that our audience may?
Yes, I actually seen another one that I wanted to say.
Okay.
So 20% of vehicle-related deaths among children under the age of 15 involve a drug driver.
Oh wow, 20%.
20%.
Under the age.
Under the age of 15.
Ooh, under the age of 15. So wait, that's even out of our age range. We wouldn't even think that kids under the age of 15. Well, I'm a city girl, so we didn't learn how to drive at 15. But I know a lot of backwoods people did.
Hold up now.
I ain't mean it in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, where I'm from, we didn't learn how to drive that early.
And where are you from?
I'm from Missouri.
Oh, okay.
St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay. So that's not bad.
But I think I will teach my kid how to drive at 12.
Please.
I can't do it. I'm gonna have to find somebody else to do it. I'm nervous. I tried one.
But yeah. But also, did you know that that seatbelts reduce fatalities by 50 to 65%? Mm-hmm. I know that and I hear this today from grown people too, that, don't wear a seatbelt, seatbelt hurts you, it's gonna cause that, it's gonna hurt you more than it's gonna help you, but seatbelts, and the numbers don't lie, you guys. I mean, I know that's one of those things that we hear all the time, but the numbers don't lie.
Right.
Seatbelts reduce fatalities by 50 to 65%. And in Mississippi, out of the more than 6,000 serious injuries that we had in 2012, 3 out of 4 of them were actually wearing their seatbelts. So that was actually pretty good. But out of the serious injuries in other words, there were serious injuries where they could have been fatalities. And so that's the thing that we have to keep in mind. Mm-hmm. Now, 77% of young drivers ages 16 to 20 were killed due to not wearing seatbelts. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's important for us to just keep everybody in mind. And now it is the law. I mean, it's the law now that everybody in a vehicle has to be buckled up. Mm-hmm. And you can face up to a $25 fine if not.
Mm-hmm. And I think that fine should go up, though, because some people are just like, it's just $25. I just pay the $25 and keep pushing. But I think that if you have to pay $500 for not having a seatbelt, I bet you'll guarantee everybody in that car with a seatbelt.
Yeah. I think the consequence should be a little bit more myself.
And it's high in other states. I think, I'm not going to quote a state, but remember we were at that meeting and they were talking about they were comparing the different states and their charges. You remember, Stanley?
Mhm.
So, I think wasn't one of them like $200 and something for, and I think that that's good, because I think that kind of helps to deter those numbers, but I didn't really get into it to see if, if that made a difference, if the cost of the price of it made a difference.
Made a difference in,
But,
in decreasing the fatalities.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, not
because
decreasing the fatalities, but increasing
the
increasing the
seatbelt
seatbelt usage,
Mhm.
right? Oh, and then the fun fact about who is more likely to not wear a seatbelt.
I mean, males are more likely not to wear seatbelts,
Right.
and I did and that's statistically. So statistically, males are less likely to wear seatbelts. And a couple of weeks ago, I actually did a preliminary study here on the campus, and let me see, that was during graduation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking at some of the people I was watching the cars that they came in, and I made a note of it. And so on that particular study that we did, I mean, that actually proves the fact, because the majority of the people who came in and had male drivers, they didn't have their seatbelts on. And so that's why we try to reach our young men as well. I mean, it's okay to get in the vehicle and to try to be all macho and stuff, but you can still be macho and buckle up, because again, we want you to return home safely.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to return home safely. And so, look, you guys, we're about to wrap this up. But we do thank everyone for joining us this morning.
Yes,
And we will be back in the same place again, like I said, on next month, the second Tuesday of every month. We are going to be meeting at the same time, the same place, from 10. We've allotted time from 10 to about 10:45 or 11, and of course time will be extended a little longer, depending on the guests that we have. And so next month we will have a MAD representative with us, and she's going to be sharing her story. And we're also looking for others. And then the month after that, we're actually going to be talking specifically about alcohol and drugs. Well, more so about drugs.
Right.
But we will be talking specifically about that, and we'll have a special guest to join us then as well. So we hope that this has been useful for you or helpful for you, and feel free to share it. Feel free to like our page. We're trying to build up our fan base on our page. So please share this with your friends. Share this with the community, and let them know that we are just trying to share as much information that we can, so we can get the information out. Because when you leave home, we want you to return home safely. So keep our Mississippi streets and highways safe. And that's it for us. We are actually, and just a little plug for Jackson State. Jackson State is always challenging minds and changing lives.
Hey.
And so we want to just keep that in the background. And so, did you guys have anything else?
Nope.
Nothing else.
Again, my name is Nita Ambus.
And my name is Keith McMillian.
And my name is Stanley Collins.
And we are in the Interdisciplinary Drug Study, Alcohol and Drug Studies Center. I always get that mixed up.
IADSC.
IADSC.
Alcohol Drug Study Center.
And
Did you put it in right?
I did. And our director is Miss Ernestine Brown. She wasn't able to join us on this time, but you will be hearing from her soon. So stay tuned. Thank you all, and y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Goodbye. Please.
Please.